My ex-boyfriend is now my stepson after his father married me last month. When I was 23, I dated Camden for 8 months. He was 19, cocky, and treated our relationship like a casual hobby. I thought I loved him. He thought I was convenient. When he ghosted me for his college girlfriend, I was devastated. He blocked me everywhere and disappeared completely. That was 7 years ago. 2 years ago, I met Richard at a medical conference. He was a distinguished cardiologist, recently widowed, with kind eyes and steady hands. When he proposed after 18 months, I said yes without hesitation. Richard rarely talked about his son. He's finding himself, he'd say. Lives in California, works in tech. We're not close. The wedding was small. Richard said his son couldn't make it. Work obligations. I was secretly relieved. 3 weeks into our marriage, Richard got a call. He lost his job, he explained, hanging up. Wants to move back home while he figures things out. How hard could it be? The doorbell rang at 8:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Richard was at the hospital. I opened the door, expecting awkward small talk with a younger version of my husband. Instead, I found Camden standing on my doorstep. My blood turned to ice. His duffel bag hit the concrete with a dull thud. We stared at each other in complete silence. Recognition, horror, then panic. Are you? He started. Richard's new wife, I finished, my voice barely a whisper. You're kidding me. Neither of us was kidding. Camden shoved past me into his childhood home, staring like he'd seen a ghost, which I suppose he had. This is impossible, he muttered. This can't be happening. I felt dizzy. Your father is my husband. My father is your husband, he repeated slowly, like testing the words. Jesus Christ. We heard Richard's car in the driveway. He doesn't know, Camden said quickly. About us. Obviously he doesn't know, I hissed. You think I'd have married him if I knew you were his son? The front door opened. Honey, I'm home, Richard called cheerfully. Camden? You here? Camden looked at me with desperation. We can't tell him. We have to tell him. Tell him what? That his new wife used to sleep with his son? That'll go over great. Richard appeared in the doorway, beaming. Camden, you made good time. He wrapped his son in a hug, then turned to me with pure joy. Sweetheart, this is my favorite person finally meeting my other favorite person. Camden, this is my beautiful wife. The words hit like a slap. Camden extended his hand formally. Nice to meet you, he said, his voice strained. I shook it, feeling sick. Likewise. That night, I lay awake next to my husband, staring at the ceiling. Down the hall, my ex-boyfriend, my stepson, was sleeping in his childhood bedroom. The next morning, Camden and I found ourselves alone in the kitchen. Richard had left early for surgery. We need ground rules, I said, pouring coffee with shaking hands. I was his stepmother now, technically his authority figure. But sitting across from him in my own kitchen, I felt like a powerless fraud. Agreed, we never mentioned the past. We're strangers. Fine. And I'm moving out as soon as possible. Good. He grabbed his mug and headed for the door, then stopped. For what it's worth, he said without turning around. I'm sorry. About how things ended between us. You were 19, I replied. We were different people. Yeah, we were. After he left, I sat in our kitchen, wondering how 7 years of moving forward could disappear in a single moment. This was my life now,